Psilocybin mushroom spores are completely legal to buy online, but what if that one purchase, combined with one tiny mistake, could land you in federal prison for up to 20 years? People are losing everything over magic mushrooms because they didn't understand where the legal line actually sits. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how thin that line really is and why it's so easy to cross it without ever meaning to. Here's something that surprises almost everyone. If you've looked into growing mushrooms at home, you've probably seen spore syringes sold openly online, on mainstream websites, shipped straight to your door. No background check, no questions asked. And they're completely legal. In January 2024, the DEA officially reaffirmed what's been their position for years. Mushroom spores that don't contain psilocybin or psilocin are not controlled substances under the Controlled Substances Act. Terrence Boos, the chief of the Drug and Chemical Evaluation section at the DEA, confirmed it himself. So you can legally buy those spores, legally possess them, legally study them under a microscope, but the absolute second those spores germinate and start producing mycelium that contains psilocybin, you've just manufactured a Schedule I controlled substance. You're now in the same legal category as someone cooking meth, and actually in a worse one. Psilocybin is Schedule I. Meth, fentanyl, cocaine, those are all Schedule II. Think about what that means. In the eyes of the federal government, what you just accidentally grew in your closet is legally considered more dangerous than fentanyl. And here's the paradox that makes this even harder to wrap your head around. The FDA granted psilocybin breakthrough therapy designation back in 2018, meaning their own scientists believe it shows enough promise to fast-track research into psilocybin-assisted therapy for treatment-resistant depression and PTSD. Johns Hopkins Center for Psychedelic and Consciousness Research has run significant clinical trials on it. Organizations like Compass Pathways and the USONA Institute are funding legitimate FDA-approved studies right now. The same federal government that considers psilocybin more dangerous than fentanyl is simultaneously funding research into its therapeutic potential. That contradiction is real, it's documented, and it doesn't protect you for a single second in a courtroom. This is where it gets really dangerous for anyone who grows mushrooms at home. When you buy a mushroom growing kit, you're buying something designed to cultivate fungi, nothing more. Most people use them for oyster mushrooms, lion's mane, shiitake, totally legal, totally harmless. But some of those kits are nearly identical to what you'd use for psilocybin species. And if you combine a legal grow kit with legal spores and the wrong species starts fruiting, you've crossed the line. You didn't plan it, you didn't intend it, but intent doesn't always matter when federal agents show up. The case of Henry Roughton in Wisconsin makes this painfully clear. Roughton sold spore syringes and mushroom growing kits. The spores were legal, the kits were legal, but a court found that he knew his buyers intended to cultivate psilocybin mushrooms from those materials, and in 2007, the Wisconsin Court of Appeals upheld his conviction for conspiracy to manufacture psilocybin. He sold 2 completely legal products and went down for a felony. The takeaway for you is this. Context matters, marketing matters, and what you say online about your intentions absolutely matters. Now let's talk about what the actual penalties look like. At the federal level, simple possession of psilocybin is a misdemeanor, up to 1 year in prison and a minimum $1,000 fine. Get caught a second time and you're looking at 15 days to 2 years plus a $2,500 fine. A third offense carries a 90-day minimum up to 3 years and a $5,000 fine. But cultivation is where it gets devastating. Growing mushrooms at home with the wrong species counts as manufacturing, and that carries up to 20 years in federal prison and a $1 million fine. If you have a prior felony drug conviction, that maximum jumps to 30 years. And if you happen to live near a school, playground, or youth center, those penalties can double. Some states go even further. In Texas, growing less than 1 gram, less than the weight of a paperclip, is a state jail felony with up to 2 years. Grow between 4 and 400 grams, and you're facing 5 to 99 years. In New York, possessing just 625 milligrams of psilocybin mushrooms is a Class A2 felony carrying a potential life sentence. Life in prison for possessing something that weighs less than a AA battery. Then there's the case of Dawn Marie Morris in Virginia. On December 2nd, the same day the DEA's historic marijuana rescheduling hearing began, this 51-year-old woman was found guilty of selling psilocybin and cannabis. Her potential sentence was up to 160 years in prison. You also need to know which states have banned even the spores themselves. While federal law says spores are fine, California, Georgia, Idaho, and as of 2025, Florida have specifically banned their sale and possession. In California, Health and Safety Code Section 11390 makes cultivating spores or mycelium with intent to produce controlled substances a crime, and Section 11391 bans transporting, importing, selling, or even gifting those spores. If you live in one of those states and order spores online for microscopy research, you could still be breaking the law. Now, the legal landscape is shifting, and it's shifting fast. In May 2019, Denver became the first city in America to decriminalize psilocybin, driven in part by the grassroots decriminalize nature movement that had been pushing cities to deprioritize enforcement. Oakland followed a month later. In November 2020, Oregon voters passed Measure 109, making it the first state to legalize supervised psilocybin use, with the Oregon Health Authority overseeing the rollout of licensed service centers. Colorado followed in 2022 with Proposition 122, also known as the Natural Medicine Health Act, and in March 2025, they issued their very first healing center business license. Then in April 2025, New Mexico became the third state to create a legal pathway for psilocybin access, and notably the first to do so through legislation rather than a voter initiative. About 30 U.S. cities have passed deprioritization resolutions, and since the start of the 2025 legislative session alone, more than 36 psychedelics-related bills have been introduced across more than a dozen states. Books like Michael Pollan's How to Change Your Mind have pushed psilocybin further into mainstream conversation, which is part of why legislators are paying attention now.
But here's what's critical to understand. Decriminalization is not legalization. In a decriminalized city, you can still be fined, still face civil penalties, and federal law hasn't changed at all. When Denver decriminalized psilocybin, U.S. Attorney Jason Dunn was blunt about it. Psilocybin mushrooms are illegal and are a Schedule I controlled substance. Together with the Denver DEA, our office will ensure the law is enforced. They proved it when they charged 28-year-old Cole Milner with possession with intent to distribute after DEA investigators found him through a Denver Post article where he openly discussed his sales. There's another risk most people never think about: foraging. If you're out picking wild mushrooms, you could accidentally harvest psilocybin species without knowing it. Paul Lee Corbett was hiking at Cape Disappointment Park in Washington state, spotted some large mushrooms in a wood chip pile, ignored a posted sign about mushroom picking, and ended up facing 5 years in prison. And beyond the legal danger, many toxic mushrooms closely resemble psilocybin species. Some cause severe gastrointestinal illness, others cause liver and kidney failure, some can kill you. So where does this leave you? If you want to grow mushrooms at home, and there are hundreds of perfectly legal, delicious, and medicinally valuable species to cultivate, you need absolute certainty about what you're growing. Know your species. Know your state's laws. Understand that the line between a legal hobby and a federal felony isn't just thin, it's invisible until you've already crossed it. Those reputable spore vendors putting disclaimers on their products saying for microscopy and educational use only aren't being cute. They're trying to stay out of prison, and you should be paying close attention to why. The law is changing, and it's changing quickly. But right now, today, the wrong mushroom in your grow kit could cost you everything. And I didn't know has never once held up in court.